Hey mamas, it's Kristen Noel popping in here with my beautiful team member Joe Young, master coach, and we are here like straight hot off of class with some after class musings. And once again, it was a doozy. It always leaves us like full, our hearts are full, and we realize how much gets unpacked in one class. You know,
Mhm.
today, which was basically office hours where we get to just come and reflect and share where we are, we always give sort of a prompt. And then, of course, there's always new mamas coming in and mamas graduating, and we had a little bit of that going on today. So it's like, endings and beginnings and letting go and letting in. And then just getting real and helping mamas stay accountable to their own needs and their desires and their vision for what they want their divorce to look like and what they want their life to look like, and how we can build these guardrails around them and to support them getting there. Because inevitably, and we talk about this over and over in different variations, there's a period of waffling. This is big stuff. We're dealing with emotions and we're dealing with things that matter. And, divorce is probably one of the biggest upsets in a life. So, there's a lot to unpack. And I guess we should just start with this. Like, let's just start with what came up in class today. And there were some big surprises.
Yeah, there were some big surprises, and it felt like the spectrum today, to your point, of beginnings and endings. We have people who are so new in the program, and then we had people who were graduating out and being able to reflect on their process from start to finish and really watching them become these new versions of themselves that is so amazing and powerful. And yeah, there is something, and I don't know about you. I don't know if it's the time of the year. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of like you feel like you get through the holidays and there's so much to navigate in this process of divorce around the holidays and stuff. And then you have a couple of weeks of kind of like shifting out of that. And then all of a sudden we reach this time of year where it's like, oh, things are getting real,
Yeah, I
right?
was just going to
For a
say, shit's
lot of
getting real.
mamas.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it feels a little like that's where quite a few of our mamas were today.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting being able to be on that journey with them. And I loved it. So you started class today with two questions. Where are you in your divorce process today? And what do you need support around? What are you struggling with? And or what do you want to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate? And we got a lot of it today on both sides, which was really incredible. And it's perfect for the picture of we're always dealing with the both and
Mm-hmm.
the struggles and the
Mm-hmm.
celebrations,
Mm-hmm.
and we can find both at all times. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was such a beautiful reminder today.
Oh, so many good points. You're right. This time of year, one of the things that's really also been coming up is that this is the time of year where a lot of people get sick. I mean,
Mm.
it's flu season. People have run themselves ragged. And then you just toss in a divorce on top of it where you've been trying to stuff all your feelings down and pretend that everything is okay. And, so many of the mamas in our group came down with the flu. They got really sick. Their kids were sick. Everybody was under the weather. That's just a leveler. But we really just tried to be gentle with them and to really remind them, like for myself, I'm not going through a divorce, but when something happens, when I feel like I'm getting sick, when I'm worn down, when I'm off my game, I remind myself the body keeps the score. It's like, what's my body trying to tell me? What am I neglecting? What do I need to do for myself to get right back on center, to get grounded? To nurture myself, to support myself. Because if you don't take care of that, you can't take care of anything else. So this is kind of something that we deal with a lot in this program, but it was amazing how many mothers were under the weather. To your point, because it was busy, 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 rush, 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 rush. And then all of a sudden, whew, leveled, like running out of steam.
Yeah, it's a really important thing to talk about is this concept that when we're on this treadmill of life, right? When we're going through the motions and we're doing all the things and we're going and going and going and we're trying not to create chaos and we're trying to keep the peace and we're avoiding really how we're feeling on the inside and all the things, it does eventually catch up. and our bodies keep the score, whether we're deciding to express the different things that are going on or whether we're deciding to ignore them. Either way, the body is keeping the score of everything that's happening, and we can only ignore and suppress for so long. And so I
Mhm.
think that's where a lot of our mothers were today was, you know, I have been trying to keep it all together and I just can't do it anymore. And bam, they get sick on top of it. And it's like, yeah, well,
Yeah, there was
it's
a lot of
because it's getting
overwhelm.
louder and louder and
Yeah,
louder that you need to slow down and focus on yourself
right.
and feel your feelings.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
your favorite word. Okay, so that's it. So that was the other thing, right? So there's a lot of overwhelm in
Mhm,
the room, which is just totally
mhm,
understandable. And one other thing I just want to point out that is so beautiful about this group is that, as Joe mentioned, there are mamas in the group that are at different stages. And it's so incredible to see the reflection because someone that's just at the beginning needs to hear that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Doesn't mean that
mhm.
it's all perfect, but they need to, you know, so there's this incredible, it's like this reciprocity that's going back and forth, this sharing of resources, sharing of energy, sharing of heart, support, you know,
Yeah.
which was really, really important. And also getting real with, at any given point, unpacking the overwhelm and really getting clear about, okay, I'm overwhelmed. Yeah, understandably, I'm overwhelmed. What can I do with it? And getting clear about what am I committed to? Am I committed to telling myself a story that's going to like work me to, you know, a frazzle? Or can I just take a pause for a second and breathe and say, I don't have all the solutions to all the problems right now, but I'm working on it and I'm resourceful and I birthed a baby. I can do this. Like, I will find my way through this. And I'm here in this group, or I'm showing up listening to this video, or I'm trying to divorce differently. I will figure it out. So, the biggest thing is really catching your thoughts. Where are your thoughts going? Like something happens, you get overwhelmed, you get triggered, you know, you're afraid. Where do your thoughts go? And it's okay because you got, guess what? As Joe will tell you, you got to feel the feelings. And I'm sure you're going to dive into this because we had a lot of mamas talking today about, I'm really good at compartmentalizing. I was like, oh, well, wait till Joe gets a hold of you. No, 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 no. Doesn't mean we're like going to like, you know, lay everything out everywhere all the time, but like Joe is not going to let you compartmentalize your feelings.
Yeah, because there's really no such thing. You know, again, our bodies keep the score all the time. So it's not like we get to pick and choose what feelings eventually we're going to deal with. We're going to deal with all of them. And they're
Mhm.
just feelings. And so you and I both were feeling this this tightness today and this edge and we're like, okay, we need first of all for everybody to take a deep breath and land for a moment. As they were sharing, it felt like the feelings were right on the edge for everyone. And it was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be a common theme today around giving yourself permission to take the time that you need to take care of yourself. And the number one way we take care of ourselves is by feeling what is needing to be felt, what is calling to be felt. And that doesn't mean going into the why do I feel this way? And it doesn't matter at the end of the day. And that's the truth. The why doesn't matter. What matters is that our feelings are being expressed in a safe, safe way. So
Mhm.
I'm always a huge encourager of that because when we do that, then we can clear the space for what's really underneath it all. But until we feel it, it's like that pressure cooker that just can't contain any more unfelt emotions. It
Mhm.
just builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And that's why we get people who say, I used to be so patient. Now I lose my patience so quick. Or I used to be able to tolerate that. And now I can't tolerate it anymore. And it's like, yeah, your pressure cooker is full.
Oh, it's exploded. It's exploded.
It's
Yeah.
full and it's
Yeah, it's
going
going
to,
to
if
come
it hasn't
out.
exploded yet, it's going to, and it's going to come out sideways in ways that you don't want it to. So let's get in
Hmm.
front of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of it today, but so much compassion empathy and support for where each of these incredible women are in their journey, and really holding them to where are you and where do you want to be, you
Mhm.
know? And I love what you brought up today about what are you most committed to? Because we do see a little bit of, oh, this put me right back to, well, maybe if I just did X, Y, or Z, I could go back and be
Mhm.
happy or be, and it's like, yeah, you could be committed to shrinking yourself and staying silent and being mistreated and or whatever
Taking the path
the
of least resistance.
story, yeah, whatever the
Right.
story is that you live
Mhm.
in,
Mhm.
or you can choose to have decided that enough is enough
Mhm.
and I deserve so
I
much
matter.
better.
I
I
matter.
matter.
Mhm.
And every single person matters.
Mhm.
Every single person matters. We're not here to live a life of least resistance. We're here in
Mhm.
this crazy human experience to show up and expand and grow and to move into these beautiful lives that we so deserve. Go
What's
ahead.
amazing about this also to me is that we ask these questions and these prompts, and they're simple questions.
Mhm,
They're simple questions because we're really trying to help women stay committed to what they want. Not what we want, not what we think they should do, but what they
mhm,
want, what they really desire. And when was the last time someone asked you, what do you need? What do you need? When was the last time you asked yourself, what do I need? What do I need in this moment? What can I reach for? A better feeling. What can I do to support myself in this moment? God knows this is a moment of vulnerability, trigger, fear, lots of emotions, lots of feelings. Let them come. You're ready. If you're ready to face a divorce, if you're here in this community, you are ready to see and feel and know what you know and to let
mhm,
it out and to find a way. And you don't have to have the how and the map. You just have to have the conviction that something has to change for me, for my children, for my future. You've been so great at helping us stay on target with these prompts. And I can see when we first start, everyone's a little like, uh-oh, here come the questions. But these are just, here come the questions. Um, but this is the most beautiful space. This is an affirmation that a lot happens in this process. And a lot happens in between all the things that are going to go on in this divorce process. You must pay attention to your feelings and to your needs and to your desires and what's coming up because this is how you heal and this is how you evolve and you transform and this is how you never move through the world in the same way again. And why
mhm.
would you want to? Because right now you're suffering. Every week we unpack something new. Every week I learn from these mamas. I learn
Yeah,
from their courage and I
yeah.
learn from the things that they're leaning into. And by the way, when they wobble, when they waffle, it's like, okay, yeah, okay, that's to be human. That's to be
It's actually
human.
to be celebrated to
Yeah,
your,
to be
and
celebrated.
we talked
Exactly.
about that today. It's like
Yeah.
that actually is a win because you're
Hmm.
seeing where you are not living in alignment with what it is that you know that you want.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's a beautiful thing is it's like sometimes we need those wobbles to recommit. How many times did we hear today? I tried to go back and give a situation another try, and it showed
Hmm.
up exactly the way it always has. And it's like, I needed the reminder. And it's
Hmm.
like, yeah. And so that's what happens when we need the reinforcement. It's going to show up and it's going to be
Hmm.
there. And it's going to be there to remind you, yeah, this is not the path you want to move towards
And
anymore.
also, instead of beating yourself up with that situation, because women, yes, we give everyone opportunities. We give him another try. Oh, he's going to do it this time. He's going to change this time. And then we get upset when we get, what is it? Einstein's, theory of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And it's like, okay, don't beat yourself up. You just gathered valuable intel. Now, what are you going to do with it? So we always just remind mamas where they have succeeded, where they have been so courageous, and remind them that they can harness that power at any given time. So it's like, okay, so now what? So now what? What are you going to do that? And you know what? You can even have a little fun with it. You can say, thank you for reaffirming why I'm divorcing you.
Yes. And we've said that many times too. What did that show you? Oh, a reminder of exactly why I'm here. It's like, well, there you
Exactly.
go. There you go. So good. It gave you a
Mm-hmm.
reminder. You obviously needed it. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I love this process because again, it's not a matter of us giving advice. It's not a matter of us leading anybody to anything other than these beautiful mamas to their own answers. And so when we ask those questions, when we ask the quote unquote tough questions, which are so simple in reality, but tough when you've never thought about them,
Mm-hmm.
it does enable you to go, oh, wait, what is my answer to that? What is my truth?
Mm-hmm.
Because to your point, we so often are always looking outside of ourselves for that
Mm-hmm.
and not inside. And so I
Mm-hmm.
found it very interesting today when the first thing we said was, we want to know what you're struggling with or what you're celebrating. And I said, actually, I want to know what you're struggling with and what you're celebrating. And it was like people had more trouble with the celebration part. And isn't that interesting? Because how
Mm-hmm.
often are we taught to celebrate
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, to
That was
celebrate
so true.
wins?
Oh God, that was so good. Yeah. And they would be telling us what they were struggling with. And we kept interrupting them, like, okay, that's a celebration. That's a celebration. That's a celebration because there were celebrations within those things. Even if we didn't get a result we liked, there was still a celebration because guess what? You're here in this room recounting that you see something. You see something of value. And
Mhm,
the answers are actually in the questions. And when you start to learn to ask your own questions, as Joe said, it's a game changer.
mhm.
It's absolutely a game changer.
Yeah, because it's actually where our power resides.
It
And,
really is.
it's amazing because so when you watch people tap into that, and that was one of the things we got to see with one of the moms that was graduating today. And she was like, you know what? I thought that this was going to be an impossible task. Yes, there are roller coaster rides. Yes, there are ups and downs. But you do it and you can do it, and you're so much better for it on the other side. And what they learn about themselves in this whole process and get to tap into their real power as women who deserve to be able to create the life that they want, right? We've been so busy checking all the boxes and doing all the things and trying to keep the peace and on and on and on and on the story goes that
Hmm.
it's like, what happens when you actually turn the story around, turn the spotlight on yourself and
Hmm.
go, huh, so if I get to choose, what do I want? And there's real power
Yeah.
in that. So,
And I really applaud the mamas that will lean in and reach out for support for themselves during this process and
mhm,
realize the benefit of it. And I think even the mama, like for example, today that was graduating, life isn't perfect. She's still got some ups and downs and she had some wobbles and she was actually sick, but she was very quickly able to recalibrate into what we were saying and reminding her and what she was capable of, what she's already accomplished, how she has navigated this, and how this is temporary and it is going to end. And that is a beautiful thing. And she actually said how transformative this program was for her because she kept getting to nurture and massage those feelings and everything that was coming up and just keep working through it and having a place to come. And we see it. We see it in real time. We never know when it's going to happen. We never know when the transformation is going to take place. But I always know it's going to happen. It's going to change. This particular mother, when they're graduating, I always think back, I reminisce to the first call we had, and she was literally breathless. She was so needing to get into her body. She was so afraid, and there was so many things being thrown at her at once. And, she very quickly, very, very, very quickly recalibrated her nervous system by coming to class, by showing up for herself. And that is the power of this work. And it's really what I wish for every mama
Mhm.
going through divorce. And I want to remind them that they don't have to do it alone and they don't have to have all the answers. And they are allowed to be loved and supported and nurtured and have a safe place to come and feel those big feelings that
Yes.
Joe's gonna like just squeeze them out of you and love
And
you up.
guided back to their own answers,
Yeah,
guided
absolutely.
back to their own answers. And we get to sit there and just hold space and be witness to it. And it's
Hmm.
incredible.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So thank you for sharing your beautiful heart with us. Always, always, always. And thank you for squeezing and loving up those feelings and creating that safe space and guiding us each week because it's just so, so important. And we just want you to know that the same is available for you. Ask yourself questions, ask yourself what you need. Show up for yourself. Allow yourself to have feelings. Don't push yourself to the bottom of the laundry basket. Don't stay so busy that you just deny yourself this part of the process because there is no denying it. It's going to emerge one way or the other. And doing this work will transform the experience and outcomes of your entire process for you and your children. Well, I could just go on and on and on.
Can I say one more thing? And
Of
the other
course.
piece of it is if fear weren't a thing, if you weren't letting fear hold you back, what would you want for your life?
Mm.
Because
Oh, here she goes with those darn
I know.
questions, those good
Well,
questions.
we debunk fear.
Yeah.
We completely debunk that in this program. Not that it isn't real, but we learn how to use it to our advantage instead. But it's a beautiful question. If you weren't letting fear keep you stuck, what would you want?
Mm.
It's an incredible question for all of us.
That is an incredible question. So I'm going to leave everybody with that incredible question. I'm actually going to ponder that one myself. And thank you for joining us here today. And if you want to learn more about us, you can check us out at intuitivedivorce.com. And please sign up for our newsletter and check out our website and our podcast and our social media at Intuitive Divorce. We are constantly putting out tons of resources, tons of ways for you to stay connected to yourself, to your divorce, and we would love to walk beside you on this journey if that is of interest to you. Again, thank you for joining us today. We're just sending you a lot of love.
Lots of love.